Alright, welcome back everyone. So let's get into introductions for this video. First up, we're playing Thantis the Warweaver Spider Tribal. This was a fun little build that I was trying out, and as the video name indicates, had an interesting play come up that never quite got to be, so we'll get to that in a second, but let's check out what our opponents are playing. And so today I'm joined by two of my Patreon supporters. First up is Chaotix2075, piloting the Tawnos Urza's Apprentice deck. Tawnos is a blue and a red for a 1/3. It has haste. Pay a blue and a red, tap it, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an artifact source. You may choose new targets for the copy. Interesting. I haven't seen this thing in action yet, but copying abilities seems like it should be pretty good, so we'll see what trickery we're in for this game. I imagine there is some situation where things just get out of hand. That probably involves Strionic Resonator and Rings of Bright Earth, and I assume that they will be off to the races. Next up, we have Kithron piloting the Xantcha deck, and they cast their Xantcha and give control of it to us. So we'll be able to get in some early beats, but we may also lose some life if opponents want to use that card draw ability. And then finally, we have a non-Patreon supporter. They are piloting a Jodah Archmage Eternal deck. Jodah, always kind of scary. Usually means casting really big stuff for reduced mana cost. Could be big creatures, could be big spells. Either way, it's scary. Keeping Jodah out of the game is going to be probably a key for survival. So with introductions out of the way, let's move to turn 11, where things start to get really interesting. One's going to play a Stormherd, okay. If we let them attack us with Stormherd, and then we play Arachnogenesis, we will get many spiders. If we then play Kindred Summons... Oh, Kindred Summons is an instant? We will get every spider in our deck, basically. And that seems really cool. So I think that's how we're going to play this. There's a Birds of Paradise, okay. So it's going to bring it back to our turn. Another Mogus trigger on us. Are we going to sacrifice? We are not going to sacrifice. Losing 2 more life. There's a forest. Play the forest. We have 7 mana. 6 if we want to hold up the Swarm Yard, which I think we do. 8 with the... Oh, man. Opponent's got how many creatures? About 24. Yeah, I guess we're just leaving up Arachnogenesis and trying to do that bit that we talked about. Would love to have that Sunbird's Invocation down first, but we really need to keep the Swarm Yard up. Yep. So I guess we just pass like that. It's nice having some instant speed stuff that we can mess with. Still waiting for opponent to recast Xantcha. Really want to draw some cards with that thing. Opponent getting more counters. They can put a... Yep, they can take an extra turn right here if they want to. They're luckily low on cards, though. Fortunately, we have Mogus in play to punish people looking to take extra turns. So opponent's going to take that extra turn. Well, I could see this getting kind of out of hand, actually. So they can pay to tap this, they can use Tawnos to double that, and they can put another energy chamber on there. They can take a lot of turns with that, so that's going to have to go. Opponent wants to take him out with the Stormherd tokens. I'm totally fine with that. Arachnogenesis, note that the creatures must be attacking us to create the spider tokens. Really love to not miss any more like mana tapping. We've been kind of like sitting on our mana, waiting to use the Kindred Dominance and stuff like that. It's been a bit awkward. Sculpting Steel. Oh boy. Copying the energy chamber. Uh-oh. What abilities do we have on this bow? Nothing that deals with artifacts. Have to be seeing a lot of turns. No attacks from our opponent. And they get their next turn. So 2 energy chamber triggers. Ooh. Are they infinite? I think they can take infinite turns. Well, they can't go exactly infinite because of Mogus. They would have to kill Mogus before that happens. Yep, opponent's going to double up. They can take an arbitrarily large number of turns. Oh. Opponent may have misclicked. Well, that works out. Oh, that's an unwinding clock. Ooh. Gonna be needing some artifact removal. Yep, opponent gonna put a charge counter on the Scepter. What can we do to stop that? We have this Kindred Summons. Kindred Summons is random, though. That's kind of an issue. Opponent gonna send the Loyal Apprentice into the Xantcha opponent. They go down to 24. So Xantcha gets a turn. They're gonna have to do something, otherwise this may be their last turn. Opponent's artifacts all get untapped. That's not great. Crypt Gas for the Xantcha opponent. Well, they can get a bit of extra mana if that thing survives. I mean, we need some stuff to happen between... we're probably forced into Kindred Dominance on our turn, actually. Oh, opponent's going to take an extra turn. Uh-oh. Mirror Turbine. Oh, boy. And the Scepter's got 3 more counters on it. Ugh. Yep, they can go essentially infinite, other than the Mogus. Nice. So the Jodah opponent gets a turn. Would love to see some type of board wipe here. Something for artifacts. Be really good. That's a Nicole Bolas Planeswalker. Destroy target non-creature permanent. Yep, that's a good thing to do. Hitting that Scepter is probably going to be a real good idea. Opponent's going to make a mirror. Sure. Yep, opponent going to blow up the Scepter. Thank you. That's a Shieldred. It's not great. It's not great. Shieldred also a good way to stop infinite turns. See what opponent wants to do with the Pegasus. Sending them all into the Tawnos and the Birds of Paradise. Opponent had about 24 of them, so this won't be lethal. Puts them down to 6. I mean, that means they could just die to, like, random Mogus stuff. Also, like, extort triggers and things like that. Oh, man. So, we're about to lose all of our mana. We can either shuffle those cards at the bottom of our library or gain some life. Life is not the worst. We're going to lose our Watcher in the web. I think we just gained some life right here. So, Mogus trigger, Shieldred trigger. Going to sacrifice the Watcher in the web. Makes me sad. And we'll lose some life to the Mogus. We will play the Mosswart Bridge. Get to Hideaway. Opponent's going to make a mirror. We have Heirloom Blade, Kodama's Reach, Land. Ishkana is probably the best thing in there. How bad is it that I kind of want that Kodama's Reach? Yeah, I'm actually going to go for the Kodama's Reach because of the Kindred Summons Arachnogenesis play that I was talking about earlier. I want to leave Ishkana in our graveyard, or in our library, rather. How much mana do we have? That's 3. 1, 2, 3. Ugh. Man. Yep. Looks like we just have to keep passing. Would love to see that Xantcha. Get the card draw going. So, Shieldred and a Mogus trigger. 2 Energy Chamber triggers. Opponent's going to put some counters on their mirror. Going to create a mirror. Opponent's sending everything into the Nicol Bolas. That's what I like to see. Opponent's going to block one with the Shieldred. It's going to block the commander. Nicol Bolas down to 1 loyalty. Can still plus and destroy target non-creature permanent. It's pretty good. Ooh, Shieldred trigger on the Xantcha. They're going to lose that Cryptcast. Going to draw a card. Oop, going to use the mana. Going to draw a card with Erebos. Okay. Oh, Erebos is in... Oh, Erebos is in play. We didn't gain any life. Ugh. Rough. Forgot all about that. Well, the next thing to do will be to shuffle things back into our library, if nothing else comes up. So opponent going to do some card drawing. Going to draw another card with Erebos. Going to keep drawing cards. And Cryptcast goes down. So opponent finally hits their 5th land. Yeah, you don't want to get stuck on 4 lands. So that's a Bloodchief Ascension. Nice. Good card. With Mogus out, that'll be really good. That'll be a good target for the Nicol Bolas. Love to keep them off of our stuff. So they get a Shieldred trigger. Ooh, on the Ramos. They're a bit low on cards, though, so that's something. I mean, it's not great, but it's better than having a full grip of 7. So Ramos back to play. Cruel Ultimatum on the Tawnos opponent. Rough. I played Standard when that was a thing. The card that I used to run on the sideboard for it was Wild Ricochet. It wasn't amazing, but there was only one time that it ever got cast where it didn't work. You couldn't target your opponent with the original copy, but just by them losing that much tempo, they would usually scoop the game right after that. Although one time they did wait long enough to get a counterspell in there and counterspell my Wild Ricochet. But other than that, I think every time I casted Wild Ricochet on the Cruel Ultimatum, I ended up winning that game. Not to say that I didn't lose many where I didn't draw it or things went completely wrong before that, but. So opponent can use the Ugin to bolt down the Tawnos. So they go to -2 out of the game. Oh no, the game just crashed! Fuck. So yeah, we were about to have one of the sweetest lines of play imaginable. We were going to fog the 20-something Stormherd tokens, get a spider for each one of those, and then use the Kindred Summons to get every single spider in our deck into play. And what's more frustrating about it is that we only needed 1 additional land to be able to do both of those things in the same turn so that we could have our spiders at the end step and just attack with them immediately. If that's not a cool commander play, I don't know what is. I was so excited about that play, and I was just waiting. Like, there were so many turns that I passed without actually spending most of my mana, so it was just like this waiting game, and the play never got to happen, and I was just so frustrated. Oh man, yeah, that one hurt. So much so that I haven't actually played this deck since then, because like that was gonna be the coolest thing. I don't know that this deck could really ever get into that situation again, or at least it would be very difficult, because not only do you need our cards to do that, you also need opponents to have a lot of creatures to attack with, and they need to be attacking you. So yeah, that's a really hard thing to set up, and probably be a very long time. It would take a lot of games to get anywhere close to that situation again, so it just makes me sad. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the combo that almost got to be. Let me know if you want to see more Thantis the Warweaver Spider Tribal. And as always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.